Hey everyone, have I here bring a video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. In this video, it has been a couple months, but it is time once again for another edition of Best Teams on Global. This is the December 2022 edition, so with that, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and dive right in, and this might be a long video because we have a lot to talk about. As I mentioned before, it has been a couple months since I've done this, but it is probably going to be the last one I'm going to do in this format. It is pretty complicated how to do it the version I was doing before with all the different team sets and things of that nature. I removed a lot of different slides for best teams, and hopefully you guys kind of understand when I show you guys the list here. So first and foremost, the disclaimer: the term best teams is my opinion and it's purely subjective. There's no official tier list or best teams ranking from Akatsuki or Bandai. And also, this is a best teams video prior to the announcement for a possible Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, things of that nature for the celebration, the New Year celebration upcoming. So just kind of keep that in mind. And how I build the teams here, you've seen it many times. I do the rankings and builds, leader skill, damage output, survivability, passive SA specials, links categories, leader flexibility, and bench flexibility, very important. Game mode effectiveness, really for the entirety of the game, but I got to focus a little bit more on the harder content and then just general overall gameplay. And when you see kind of the explanation of how I kind of rank game mode effectiveness, you're looking at Ultimate Red Zone and of course the Cell Max event as the tip top, and then kind of the rest fall below. And when you see the numbers down below on the slides here, the 8355, what it means is how many of those can be completed. So in this case scenario, the 8 means that there's 8 Super Battle Roads the team that can actually complete using the leader. 3 Extreme Super Battle Roads, 5 Fighting Legend missions, and then Infinite Dragon Ball History missions. I did not add like Ultimate Red Zone missions and Cell Max missions quite yet. That will probably be in the next version because again, a lot of things have changed overall. And when you look at the levels when it comes to the top 10, I'm really only focusing on the 200% leads, maybe with a combination of 170, 180 as a secondary leader, but primarily 200% leads is what we're looking at. The funny thing, I looked over here, it's been, like I said, a couple months, and I think the last one I did was kind of close to the Worldwide Celebration, or toward the end of the Worldwide Celebration. I think I did a quick summary of it, but this list is no longer valid, and a lot of things have changed here. So when we look at some honorable mentions, though, we're looking at like 170% leads and things of that nature. There's one 200% leads, and that's the Dragon Ball Heroes team with Super Saiyan Limit Breaker Goku. Those are fun teams to have, but they don't really belong in the top 10, maybe a part of like the top 15 or even the top 20. But you have some of these other teams, right? You have Hybrid Saiyans, you have Miraculous Awakening, you have Kamehameha, things of that nature. All these, even Patara is like 180, and it's a very good honorable mention, especially with Mazu out right now as a Patara team. But generally speaking, these are like in your top 10, top 15 or 20, but just does not make the top 10 cut. So also a couple of honorable mentions in the 200% category here. One of the top 10 teams have fell off of the top 10, and that is the Android Cell Saga. They're still really good. It's just when it comes to like certain red zones and then like Cell Max, it's very difficult to complete Cell Max. You have to get a lot of RNG, some dodging ability, things of that nature. But generally speaking, if you're running like a super team or just the extreme team here, and you're running like Ultimate Red Zone, you really don't have too many options for like Cell Max. But then certain red zones he's very good at, but some other ones just it just doesn't work out. So honorable mention for the Android Cell Saga, power absorption with the androids category with the transformation cell. Then you also have, and this was, I had a hard time. I was like, do I put this as honorable mention or do I put this as number 10? I ended up just putting them in Realm of Gods Mastered Evolution in like the 11th spot, or like 10A, 10B, with the 10th spot there. They're fairly good as well. 7486 is a good amount of game mode effectiveness. I think the big issue here is the inconsistency of good units that you can surround itself with. And yes, you can have a lot of Realm of Gods with Pure Saiyans and you're running at 200%, but even the Exchange Vegeta here isn't like the best and tip top. Still very good, This is still a top 15 team, but I just left them off. I was thinking, like, should I just put them on, things of that nature. I think the flexibility of the next team that I'm talking about for the number 10 spot kind of takes the cake, even though I would say the leader for this is better than the leader that I'm talking about in the number 10 spot. So anyway, here's the transition in. We're 5 minutes into this video, and finally I get to the top 10 here. So a lot of that explanation, things of that nature. But coming in at number 10 is actually going to be Raditz and the Pure Saiyans team. Yes, I understand, you know, Pure Saiyans with Raditz isn't very, very good, but you start thinking about like the main rotations it runs, Raditz just becomes a floater. 6433 is reasonable. It's not like really, really bad. It was before they added some extreme super battle roads. They added some super battle roads that this team can run. Yes, you can run this with the World Tournament as well. So there's some game mode effectiveness here that kind of prompts to the opportunity of a number 10 spot. But again, it's just a flexibility. Pure Saiyans is one of the best categories in the game here, and constantly you're getting new units over and over again. And of course, you can still run the 170%, transforming Vegeta Blue here as a leader, and you're talking about crazy game mode effectiveness with 13, 8, 11, and 6, right? And you can kind of, when it comes to red zones and cell maxes, you can kind of separate the two and try to different combinations. But again, very difficult, but in a sense, you're still having the same issue with like Cell Max with like the Cell team. I guess you can do a little bit easier on their ROG Exchange Vegeta, but ultimately here, I just put him in the number 10 spot just because of the flexibility of this team here, the main combos, the active skills and stuff like that. So of course you can run one of the best units in the game, or you look at the top combinations, right? Some of the best units in the game in the main rotation. So coming number 10 is Pure Saiyans with Raditz. Coming number 9 and 8, I kind of was flipping back and forth on, but I just settled with the number 9 spot as Bond of Friendship, Dragon Ball Seekers with the Pan team here. 6557 is just, again, it's not as good as some of the other ones we're going to be talking about from the 8 spot on. But really, this team here, because of the 30% lead here, GT Heroes, Dragon Ball Seekers, GT Heroes is 30%, but Bond of Friendship and Dragon Ball Seekers, one of the big misses they had on this for the leader skills, you can't run the 7-year anniversary Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta on this team because they're not Bond of Friendship or Dragon Ball Seekers. They're GT Heroes, but they're not the other ones. So I think it's a big miss there. And then when you're running Red Zone, at least this team here, you're able to run Carnival Goku. And then Pan does very well in the first spot. Again, she does have to build up to really be very, very good in that first position. But she gets that damage reduction. She boosts up there. But again, 6557 just isn't overly strong as what you're seeing everything else with. But I do like this team. It's a fun team to run. So I put them in the number 9 spot with the Bond of Friendship, Dragon Ball Seekers, GT Heroes, and the Tech Dokkan Festival exclusive Pan. So now let's go ahead and move on to the number 8 spot. The number 8 spot goes to, you can kind of say, OG 200% lead now, and that is the Super Saiyans Goku family with the exchange Gohan, the Super Saiyan Gohan here. When Gohan exchanges, he's a beast, right? He's amazing, but it is kind of tough to run, certain combinations to make that happen and make that work on a more consistent basis. But because it's Super Saiyans and Goku's family, again, that's another one of the categories. Just has a breadth of other options. You can run Pan on here. You can run a multitude of different units. The funny thing about the exchange, the blue Goku and Vegeta, it's like exchanging a Vegeta, but it's on Goku's family. Go figure, right? So that doesn't make any sense to me either. But the game mode effectiveness is 9557, so a lot better than Pan's, of course, for the game mode effectiveness. But I think standalone, maybe Pan's going to be better at standalone. But overall game effectiveness with the most amount of options here is going to be, I would say, this Goku here. Now, I love one of these teams that you can build when you're able to just like maximize support. Like look at the triple support on the bottom there. Very, very strong team just to do simple events and things of that nature. This can just run through you, grinding some metals or something like that you need to do. Now, when you're looking at just like a full 200%, this is kind of where the weakness is. This will be a higher, I think, tier of ranking if the 200% wasn't as limited with the Android Cell Saga. As you can see, the team that you're running here, it's not going to do overly well with the super hard content at the whole 200%. So when it comes to like Red Zone and harder content here, you're going to be basically running the Exchange Goku and Gohan or the Exchange Gohan as a floater position. You use other units to go ahead and try to have that advantage of getting hit that first slot there, right? You can use Carnival Goku. If you're doing movie bosses pure Saiyans, you can run the Goku there, of course. Pan could be run in the first position there for you. So again, once Gohan does exchange, you have it in the bag. But again, that's kind of a difficult transformation or exchange. So coming in number 8 is going to be Super Saiyan's Goku family. I think it's a right spot for them, right above the Pan spot there. So let's go ahead and move on to the number 7 spot, which is actually the Carnival Goku. Now, Carnival Goku in of itself is one of the best units in the game, no doubt about it. And having a 9376 is a very, very high game mode effectiveness score. The reason why they're number 7 or possibly even lower is the flexibility of this team, right? You are able to run 2 Namegokus, or not Namegokus, but Carnival Gokus. But that's kind of about it. Everything else surrounding it, you're very limited. So building a team to complete a certain event or hard content, yeah, you got the first slot taken care of, but what about everything else, right? So I think there are certain positions that you're going to be okay on, especially if you want to bring other revival units. These are basically other revival units you can run. The biggest issue with revival is you're going to do it one time, right? So just have to watch out for that. But when you're running up against harder content, you can bring these types of units there. Of course, Gohan is still one of the better units that would stack. You can bring this as an off position here that will stack as well. You can maybe run him in the Gogeta there. So it's different combinations for different teams. If you need to dodge, you bring UI Goku. So again, and you can even use this guy as well on the team with powerful comeback. So anyway, the main unit, the leader, very, very, very good. The rest of the team that's surrounding it, very limited. So that's why we have it in the number 7 spot. So powerful comeback with the Carnival Goku is coming in at number 7. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the number 6 spot. So the number 6 spot, I was kind of going back and forth between this team and the number 5 spot here. And I made kind of a late change. So I said, you know what, let's go ahead and bring the number 6 spot for the Majin Buu Saga Vegeta's family in Majin Vegeta. So Majin Vegeta is an interesting unit here because they were like bottom of the top 10, maybe even out of the top 10. Before LRGG came about. LRGG is so important because you're able to trigger the active cells, but the entrance animation that's going to give damage reduction to Majin Vegeta. And once that happens, this unit becomes amazingly good. The biggest issue is you're not going to have it in the same rotation. You just only have it in one rotation. So you do have to activate it before you get into first position to go ahead and take some stuff here. So, but here's the thing about the game mode effectiveness. The game mode effectiveness for this team is 10.587, very, very high. Now, you do have a few inclusions like the Great Saiyan Man that was Easy Aid in Dragonball Heroes, stuff like that. But running a full Vegeta's family is a very, very fun team to run. Now, you can even run something like this that's going to be more in the Gifted Warrior side of things, right? With a Gohan support, I'd probably even move him out of this here. But the team here is pretty fun and can do a lot of red zone content. A little bit of RNG, of course, with Super Vegetos, but again, once you're triggering the Trunks damage reduction for Majin Vegeta, it becomes a lot easier for you to to complete a lot of these other hard contents. Again, I didn't make the slides for each one of them. It would have just taken me forever, and I'm going to repurpose and do different slides for the future, but at this point in time, you're going to have to kind of figure it out yourself on what you want to use for certain red zones. Just bring, those type of advantages, individuals, Cell Max, you want to bring, int units on there. Again, certain red zone's going to have its certain advantages and disadvantages, but I think, Majin Vegeta does very well on all the red zones. So anyway, coming in at number 6 for me is Majin Buu Saga Vegeta's family, with, of course, including the LRGG here, and Gifted Warriors with the Majin Vegeta. So, again, I switched the spot from number 5. I was like, I don't know if I could put Majin Vegeta as number 5 due to the fact of LRGG, even though LRGG is one of the best, or if not the best unit in the game. But I felt like overall, even with the game mode effectiveness of 10.587, I think Metal Cooler still is a little bit better overall, right? Even though the game mode effectiveness is a little bit lower, 8.364, the combinations you could run here synergizes a lot more. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I was going to drop this to number 6 is it's really missing one important unit to make this team, like, for sure the number 5 versus like iffy. I can switch it between Majin Vegeta, and that is Golden Frieza. Golden Frieza is not available in the global version of the game, and Golden Frieza, LR Golden Frieza is amazing. But when you're dealing with the red zone and other hard content, you do still have the Easy A Golden Friezas that you can run in first position, and just having the those options, right? Of course, you're trying to not to run Metal Cooler in the first position in hard content here, but the combination between like Cooler and Metal Cooler is very, very good. You can run them as a floater over here, and you can run like the Golden Friezas here for that first position. But if you had the LR Golden Frieza, it's a no-brainer, right? Now you have 2 options to go in the second rotation versus like trying to figure out what we're going to do in the rotation when it comes to the harder content. So that's a big miss there. And once that happens, I think Wicked Bloodline does solidify as one of the best teams that you can run. And the nice thing about Wicked Bloodline, it does have a lot of synergy versus like Powerful Comeback, not as much synergy as you find on this team here. So coming in number 5 is Metal Cooler, LR Metal Cooler, and the Wicked Bloodline. It can do virtually every single red zone in Cell Max. Is a little bit difficult, but again, if you have the right positioning here, you should be doing okay. Now, let's talk about now the top 4. I would say the top 4 are just better than everyone else, right? They are able to do a lot of different things. They're a lot funner. They're more fun to play, I think, for all different types of game modes as well. Not saying that Wicked Bloodline and Metal Cooler isn't all that great, but I think 4 and up is kind of interchangeable for definitely the top 4. So coming to number 4, and this was I actually had these guys at number 6 before they ended up getting the first position problem taken care of. I won't say like ultimately taken care of, but Pan does help this team here with the opportunity of having a strong first position. So in a sense, kind of keep that in mind, when you're doing red zone and stuff like that. This is still not the best of the best to do like red zones. I would say the top 3 have much better chances and opportunities there. So, but the game mode effect was 8, 4, 10, 10. Very, very, very good. And when you look at the different options you can run with Fuse Fighters and GT Heroes, this is, I think, a very, very fun team to run. I still enjoy running a Super Saiyan 4 team here. And yeah, I think they're still definitely in the top 5. So when you're doing like red zone harder content on here, you're going to have to look at like a Pan or a Piccolo. I'm trying to look at the different screen here, and you have other options as well. Still not as convenient as some of the other the top 3 there, but I would say some people might argue like Fuse Fighters and GT Hero Super Saiyan 4 is a top 5 team. But I think with kind of how I look at things with game mode effectiveness, they're still very effective overall. So coming in number 4, Super Saiyan 4 still hang on. Again, I did have them out of the top 5, before Pan came in. And I think Pan does help this team out quite a bit, trying to solve that first position problem. So coming number 4, the Super Saiyan 4 7-year anniversary units on here, but definitely now the top 3 is in a league of its own. I think these are all fun teams, 4 through 1, but now we're talking about the cream of the crop. And the number 1 spot is a combination. Just want to let you guys know now. You're like, wait a minute, where's the other teams that are like my favorite top teams? There's only a few left. You'll kind of see what I did for the number 1 spot. So coming in number 3 is a lot of people argue it's number 1, and that is Terrifying Conquerors movie bosses with Strength Cool. Strength Cool is amazing. You talk about damage production for global right now. It is outstanding, still amazing. Again, you're still having that slot 1 problem without a LR Golden Frieza. I think with LR Golden Frieza, definitely cements to a number 3 or even number 2 spot. It can definitely, you know, run up against the best of the best here. You have amazing support. The biggest issue with Cooler, I would say, is just overall game mode effectiveness. 7.374 isn't all that great, but I kind of look at, you know, when you're running this team, it feels like a 220% team or a 250% team because of all the support you can run. That's all viable support as well. And then when you're doing red zones, things of that nature, you have LR Janemba, you have the Golden Friezas, just not LR Golden Frieza at this point in time. Once you have LR Golden Frieza, boy, you have a huge opportunity for major wins, and pretty much of a easy win due to the fact you do have the opportunity to revive with LR Metal Cooler, things of that nature. So again, super strong here, and I would say easily in the top 3. Some people argue in the top 2 or top 1 here. So coming in number 3 is the Strength Golden Cooler, the Strength Final Form Cooler. Did I say Golden Cooler in the beginning? I might have said Golden Cooler in the beginning, but the Strength LR Final Form Cooler. And yeah, pretty amazing team, and really still fun to use. So coming number 2 is the new entry that jumped right into number 2. And of course, that's LRGG. So LRGG, again, one of the best units, if not the best unit of the game. It solved that first position problem for a lot of teams that they still have, and this just makes it very easy, right? So Bond of Parent Child, Future Saga with Battle of Fate. You can run a multitude of different combinations. Again, probably the weaker portion of this team here is the game mode effectiveness. It's very similar to like a Cooler. You're looking at like a 7.264, a lot lower than some other teams, but they're so good at the harder content, the hardest content, that of course it bodes well being in the top 3. In this case, for me, the top 2. So if you're running like Red Zone, or also of course Murzumasu has come out too. Problem Murzumasu, it doesn't really synergize too well. I just put the slide in here just to say, okay, well, how can I run Murzumasu in here? There's a version of something that you can run. But anyway, when you're doing the harder content, harder event, slot 1 is taken care of, and then you could bring on other damage reduction type of units on here like Majin Vegeta. You have that beast of a Goku there in the Carnival Goku, and look at it, you're running the bench strength of 7-year anniversary units, and there's actually some decent support units as well that can do really good on this team here. So I just realized I have a super support with extreme unit there, but that's fine, you know. Majin Vegeta doesn't sometimes need that support on there. I guess you can bring a different support unit here, for example, like this guy right here, and you can boost up Goku's family or Vegeta's family, right? So anyway, you do have other options. So I think coming number 2, I think number 2 is a very strong spot here. A lot of people would say this is the standalone number 1, but of course how I rank things is a little bit differently. So yeah, I can see that this is a standalone number 1, but with everything included, I'm going to put him in the number 2 spot. So all right, here we go. Number 1 spot. I had to group these together. I had to, right? It's a combination. It's Movie Heroes. That's the number 1 spot. And it's a combination of the 7-year anniversary gods, Gamma 1, and Joint Forces, right? They're all movie heroes, and then yeah, they have a secondary leader, but it's all coincides, and the amount of movie heroes leaders we have is pretty crazy. Maybe because we have Beast Gohan coming, right? That's gonna fit into one of these teams here. But when you start looking at, you know, the different variations, and you know, Gamma 1, Gamma 2 as a rotation is as good as anything out there, right? You know, and if you're able to run this, and they're not Kamehameha, so they're not 200%, but even at 170%, it is as good as a 200% rotation that's on any type of team. And then if you want to run them as a main team, I'm just showing Gamma 1 here, but you can run Gamma 2 as well as a team here. But yeah, it's ultimately super strong, and there's no doubt that Movie Heroes is the number one spot, especially like the gods here. Look at the game mode effectiveness on the gods, right? The gods is 10, 6, 12, 7. That's just, you know, ungodly for a 200% lead. And then Gamma 1 is definitely the weaker of the game mode effect in this, but that's why I kind of combine all these together. 7, 1, 3, 4, and then the joint force. So look at the rotation on top. I know that it's going to be running at 170%, except for the Carnival Goku, but even at 170%, you cannot run a combination in main rotations like these two. There's no other team that can do it. This team can with Join Forces and Movie Heroes. Again, your Movie Heroes heavy. You're just being able to bring LRGG in because they're Join Forces and run that combination there. That's pretty solid, right? That is a ridiculous combination, and the game mode effectiveness for this team here is 8254. So overall in general, Movie Heroes is the best team. Could I have separated each one of them? Sure, I would say then like this is like 1 2 3, maybe like still 2 being like LRGG. So if I were to say, okay, if I were to separate these two, 1 here because of the game mode effectiveness is crazy, 10-6, 12-7. Probably Join Forces because it's 8254 and you can run this crazy rotation, and then probably Gamma because of its low game mode effectiveness is the third version of this, Gamma 1 or Gamma 2. But again, when you're running rotations to complete even no item run EZA events and Cell Max events, this team is just ridiculous, right? You can run the red zone this way. You can add, 2 gammas on here. You can add gamma. You can separate the two. I probably wouldn't run like Join Forces, right? Because it doesn't work out as well as what you're seeing here with the Super Saiyan Join Forces here. So, but all in all, yes, I would say #1 team, Movie Heroes. The gods, Gamma 1, and the Joint Forces here makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to you guys, how I group them together, but you're running a lot of the same rotations and combinations when it comes to all this. So anyway, hopefully you guys agree or disagree. Let me know in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and summarize everything here. So we have Pure Saiyans at number 10, Bond of Friendship Pan is at number 9, the exchange Goku into Gohan, the strength Goku's Family Super Saiyans is number 8. Then you have Powerful Comeback with Carnival Goku as number 7. Number 6, Majin Vegeta and the Vegeta Family Majin Buu Saga. You have Wicked Bloodline number 5. You have the LR Super Saiyan 4s and GT Heroes with Fuse Fighters as number 4. Number 3 is Final Form Cooler. Amazing Final Form Cooler there. LRGG is coming number 2, and then Movie Heroes, without a doubt, is the best team in the game, and they don't even have the physical Kid Goku yet, right? And that unit is amazing as well. But anyway, that is my list here. If you are new to my channel, like, subscribe, comment below, do all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video here. You'll see the new format in 2023, and but yeah, thank you all for watching. And if you're new to my channel, I said all that already. Thank you for watching. Keep on Dokkaning. We'll catch you next time. Later.